It's the Mr. Marty Show.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Welcome to the Mr. Marty Show. So glad you're here. Pull up a chair. Got so much to share. Give a big cheer for the Mr. Marty Show. Right now we're overlooking the upper Mississippi River Valley in the town of Lansing, Iowa, and Alamogordo County. On the very top of Mount Hosmer, that's where we're gonna go to put on the Mr. Marty Show. All around the world too, we got people contributing their points of view and some beautiful songs and poetry. It's a show of variety on the Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show. Show, 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 show. Live action on the Mr. Marty Show. Bang!
What I need to show. If only it was that easy, I know. A magic charm made out of gold, a strong sword for me to hold, yeah, for me to hold. What I wanna be. Wanna feel it there inside of me. Patient as painting the Sistine ceiling, hot as a pot of fine Darjeeling, yeah. It takes courage to be courageous, courage to be courageous. Discouraging urgings of those pernicious, outrageous, so contagious. It takes courage to be courageous, courage to be courageous against the vicious, pernicious, officious. Give them strength, love, prayer, good wishes, prayers, good wishes. Yeah, yeah. No courage is found, yeah. Don't fall for the tricks insidious. Stay grounded, stay suspicious, yeah. It takes courage to be courageous, courage to be courageous. Discouraging urgings of those pugnacious. Outraged, outrageous, so contagious. It takes courage to be courageous, courage to be courageous. Against the vicious, pernicious, and vicious. Give them strength, love, prayer, good wishes, prayers and good wishes. Yeah, yeah. Resist, resist, resist the dwellers of the dim, who feast on rumor, drama, and whim. Their weakness is their love of pride. Your better angels are standing by your side, yeah. It takes courage to be courageous, courage to be courageous. Discouraging urgings of those pugnacious. Outraged, outrageous, so contagious. It takes courage to be courageous, courage to be courageous. Against the vicious, pernicious, and vicious. Give them strength, love, prayer, and good wishes. Love, prayer, good wishes.
Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, Alexa. Did you know that you can listen to Marty's music on all these stations? All you have to do is enter Martin Lawrence McCormack in the search. Subscribe, like, and listen.
Hi, Mr. Marty fans. Ma Gilmore here. Today we're talking about just desserts. Well, that we think of as a food. It's an end-of-the-meal treat. And I want to let you know that my favorite is Bananas Foster. Now, I used to go with my friend Gail, and we would go to this certain restaurant, which I think is defunct now since the pandemic, but we would order the Bananas Foster to split. It came out sizzling and crisp, and the bananas smelled so good, and the syrup, and with one bite, that would satisfy us. That's what a good dessert does. One bite is all you really need. Another one of my favorites is watermelon. You can eat it cold, you can eat it right off the vine, just hit it on the floor, and there you've got your dessert. And then when I was in Ireland, the restaurant we had as our opening restaurant welcoming us to Ireland had this dessert plate. And there was this one golden berry on it. It was a gooseberry, I think. I really haven't seen if it was or not. But that gooseberry, or yellowberry, had been cooked in sugar and caramelized with this coating of the sugar. And when you bit into it, it was the most delicious, delicious fruit you could ever eat. And after one bite, because there was only one berry, we all looked at each other. What in the world was that? Well, that's what a good dessert is supposed to do. One bite is all you really need. Also, in speaking of just desserts, what comes to mind is that we all wish upon people to get their just desserts. Now that can mean that if somebody does a wrong to you, you want bad karma coming to them. Or if you do something for someone, you're expecting something good to happen to you too. But that's not how it works. In the Old Testament, it says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That meant if somebody did something wrong, you were expected to get something back. In the New Testament, it says, judge not lest ye be judged. Well, to me, that means that I don't know what's in that person's heart. I don't wish him ill will. I do wish justice to be done, and there is a difference. But I don't wish him ill will. I try to forgive, because if you are not forgiving a person, it's not hurting the other person, it's hurting you. So when I think of just desserts and the people that in my life that did things for the wrong reason, they were good efforts, but they expected something in return. They wanted praise. They wanted something good to happen to them. You don't go about doing good things so that you get something. For in the end, we all get something. We'll get our just desserts, whether good or bad, but it's not left up to me or you. So, in this world, on a happy note, I hope that this week will bring you peace. I hope that those who are ill in your family will be better this year, this week. I wish you peace from me to you. Do unto others. Peace.
And now, 30 seconds of cue.
Okay, Mr. Marty fans, today's theme is summer foods, and there is nothing better for a summer food than ice cream. And here we are in Forest Park at the Brown Cow Ice Cream Parlor, because there is no place better to get ice cream than a small hometown ice cream parlor that makes their own ice cream right here in the shop. And here I'm lucky enough to live within walking distance from one of the best ice cream parlors in Illinois. Here we have the waffle cone makers, where they make their very own waffle cones right here in front of you. And tomorrow's Father's Day, and they'll be having like a waffle and ice cream bar, and these waffle makers will be going big time. And you can see how beautiful and enjoyable the ice cream is. Even babies like to come here.
Baby dolls, yes.
And this baby is dreaming about eating ice cream when he gets a little older. You can see they make these wonderful ice cream sandwiches here, ice cream cakes. You can buy ice cream by the pint or the quart. And here we have some of our wonderful ice cream. All flavors, traditional flavors, non-traditional flavors. We always have, Connie always has some flavors that are dairy-free for the poor dairy allergic person. And we have these beautiful waffle cones that they make here. You can dip them in chocolate. You can get sprinkles on them. And really, there's just nothing better. Here you can see dipping out ice cream. And nothing better. You can also get, if you get fresh baked goods here, delicious brownies, little pies, have a birthday party. But there's nothing better than ice cream. And now I am going to eat some. See you later, Mr. Marty fans. That's plenty.
Alright, so as you can see here, we've made some pretty important strides. And I got the iris in. I expanded the eye a little bit because I'm going to come back in just a tad to give a little more definition. You can see kind of a little where the eyelid's going to kind of reside. And, you know, the owl eye is kind of a weird little peak on these barred owls, at least the perspective with the pictures. I'm happy about the distance now between the nose and added just a little bit of its lower mouth. More feathers have to come in. The plumage I want to stand out even more. I'm starting to get a bit of a nice diverse feeling on this thing. So when you see this thing from across the room, it's going to look very, very real, which we want. Pretty happy with the iris, just enough hint. And so we're just going to continue along. But right now I want to let the paint dry for a little bit. I want to get away from this thing just to clear out my mind. So I'm going to take Capers for a walk. Okay, so back from taking Capers for a walk and giving it some time, and been looking online at pictures of barred owls, and just because my subject matter, Polly's owl, I'm beginning to really think was more of a juvenile, a young owl, and I'm basically painting a young owl. Though I want people to know it's an owl. Barred owls have a very big, wide open kind of a cascade of feathers, an explosion of feathers, pin feathers coming out of the eyes. So I'm going to do a little more to keep drawing that out. I'm going to darken this because barred owls kind of have a darkened ridge, and a darkened ridge kind of crests even a little higher. So here on Polly's owl, from the original photo, it's kind of where that crest is. So I'm going to darken, 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 bring it up. This is going to be my crest. I'm going to make it kind of crash into the little ponds of white. I might even make the ponds of white move a little further up. Just not finished with this, got a long way to go. I really want this to look like a real beak. And adding more dollops of white paint, but overall I'm pretty happy with the way it's going. It's really turning into a cool looking owl. Very excited about the fact that I got just that slight iridescence that I wanted to get, mixing the green and the black and the brown to create that kind of shimmery, almost supernatural kind of look. So I'm going to spend a little more time doing this, and then we'll see how far I get.
This is Kate, and today I'm going to tell you how the Oreo was created out of a sibling rivalry between two brothers. Today, the Oreo is the world's most popular cookie. With regional varieties and limited release flavors, the biscuit brand keeps sweet tooths around the world satisfied. But its origin story has a much less saccharine flavor to it. The cookie was born out of a sibling rivalry between two brothers, Jacob and Joseph Luce, whose rift became so deep that they ended up running rivalry baking companies. In fact, the Oreo was a revenge cookie. The full story starts in the 1890s, decades before the Oreo was invented, when Jacob and Joseph opened a bakery together in Kansas City, Missouri in the 1890s. The Luce Brothers Bakery was thriving, and Jacob, who had a knack for the business end of things, knew that he'd need to merge with more bakeries in the Midwest to grow the company. He hired a lawyer named Adolphus Green, and through their acquisitions, they created the American Biscuit and Manufacturing Company, which was the second largest bakery in the country at the time. Jacob became president, appointed Adolphus as general counsel, and gave Joseph a seat on the board. Running a giant bakery company proved draining. For the next 7 years, Jacob and Adolphus duked it out with the two major baking companies in America in a race to the bottom price war. And after those 7 years, Jacob was depleted. His health was suffering. He moved to Europe to recover, and in his absence, Joseph took over. Joseph thought the best way to conclude the price war was to merge with the two other major baking companies and form an even bigger biscuit company. This was a trend at the time when monopolies for goods like oil, tobacco, and sugar ruled the markets. But Jacob vehemently disagreed and wrote letters from his sickbed letting his brother know. Unfortunately, from so far away, there wasn't much he could do to stop Joseph. So while Jacob was convalescing, Joseph and Adolphus pushed the merger deal through and created the National Biscuit Company, today known as Nabisco. Once recovered, Jacob decided to get back in the game, but not with the National Biscuit Company. Instead, he found a new partner and started a bakery from scratch called the Luce Wiles Biscuit Company, using everything he had learned from the industry thus far. After 10 years, Luce Wiles became the second largest bakery in the U.S. after Nabisco. And they had a winning cookie that consumers loved. It was a chocolate sandwich cookie with a creamy center. It was called, of course, the Hydrox. Then Nabisco came out with a suspiciously similar cookie called the Oreo. Thankfully for Jacob, the Oreo couldn't touch his Hydrox. The Oreo was priced cheaper, came off as a generic cookie, and the Hydrox remained the favorite. Nabisco essentially produced, at that time, the Oreo at a loss. For the years leading up to their death, each brother had their one victory: Jacob, the Hydrox, and Joseph, the bigger company. In the following years, however, the tides of competition shifted. The name Hydrox began to sound a lot like many of the cleaning and disinfecting products that were on the market, and Nabisco, the massive powerhouse company that it was, doubled down on Oreo's marketing. In the 1950s, an Oreo relaunch with a higher price point made the Oreo more expensive than Hydrox, and it made it seem more premium. Nabisco then began licensing Oreo for use in other products, like cookies and cream ice cream. It legitimized the brand further. In the end, Hydrox looked like the knockoff, even though it was the original. And Oreo went on to become Milk's favorite cookie and the best-selling cookie.
Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for watching the show. I really hope you like the show. Thanks for watching the show. I hope you like the show. Thanks for watching the show. I'm really glad you're here. 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 Thank you for Thank you for listening to them and sharing this moment so we can be together in one, not really face to face, but we can listen to the show. Thank you for watching the show. Bye.